On today's show, we've got a very special guest who's going to teach us how to make real, substantial, practical money with your video content in today's creator economy. You don't want to miss this. An old friend, a colleague, and somebody who's absolutely crushing it with video, building his own business, his own empire, if you will. It's Nez Nation Live, the Creator Economy Podcast. You know what you need to do, y'all. Come on back. Welcome, everybody, to the Creator Economy live stream podcast show. This is a show where we help you monetize your experience, skills, and creativity in the creator economy. What is the creator economy? Well, the creator economy is pretty much the greatest invention since the iPhone. And I think there's so many opportunities now, not only to monetize directly through all these different unbelievable platforms, venues, etc., but monetize indirectly by creating visibility for yourself in this creator economy, building your thought leadership, your personal brand. We talk about this all the time. So you're in the right place if that's your goal. I'm your host, Professor Nez, a content creator, business owner. I've been doing this since 1555, and I'm just so super pumped with the guests that we have today. So we kind of have two segments to our show. We've got our weekly live stream that we do every single Sunday, and then we also have these amazing guests, experts, thought leaders, executives, professionals, content creators, etc., business owners that I love to bring on the show, all to help us monetize, all to help us take advantage of the creator economy. You're going to love our guest. I promise you, I guarantee it. I stake my whole name on this. So stick around, because when my man comes on, you're going to be absolutely blown away by what he has to offer. Let's see who's here. Shards of Gaming in the house. Good to see you. Lewis, yes, that's right. My man, Dr. Elo in the house. Please share this out and make sure you smash that giant thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it. Now, before we bring our guest on, let me talk a little bit about some of the things that we need to take care of first. And that is, I get your messages all the time. I get your DMs all the time. Nez, I hear you all the time talk about the power of live streaming. I hear you all the time talk about how live streaming has taken your business, built your audience, done so much for your brand, etc. How do I do it without, I'm not a technical person. I'm not somebody who is a producer or an executive live stream director or what have you. How do I do what you do? How do you bring these cool ticket tapers up? How do you bring these amazing comments up? How do you do this? I don't know how you do this. How do you go live in 7, 8, 10 different places? We're live on Facebook, we're live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, y'all. All from one location. That's not anything you have to download. It's completely browser based, and it's the live stream software that I personally use for my business and for everything that I want to do pertaining to live streaming. It's StreamYard. And believe me, I've been live streaming, y'all know, since the 16th century, right? And I've tried them all. There's nothing better than StreamYard. And so if you're interested in live streaming, if you understand the power and the effect and the reach and the ability to build real audiences and community with live streaming, but you're not maybe technically inclined, you got to try StreamYard. And I have a free link for you in the description of this video, also in the pinned comment. Get your free trial of StreamYard. And here's the cool thing. Here's the kicker, y'all. With my link, you don't have to even put in a credit card. Boom. With my link, you just simply sign up, register. It takes you 2 minutes, and you can go live. So what's better than that? So make sure you go check out StreamYard. It's in the description, as I said, and also in the pinned comments. I also get your messages and DMs. Nez, I just got one right now on LinkedIn. Nez, what microphone do you use? Nez, what kind of audio do you use? What kind of tripod do you use? What kind of gimbal? Where do you store your videos? What kind of website do you use? What kind of cords, cables, etc.? As an Amazon influencer, I'm lucky enough to have my very own storefront. So I've been able to organize everything for you in one simple list. And all you got to do, if you're interested, is click on the product. It takes you straight to Amazon. Bada boom, bada bing. Yes, I do. Full disclosure, I do get a very tiny, it's very tiny commission. But guess what? It doesn't cost you a penny more, whether you get it from me or somewhere else. It doesn't cost you a penny more. So it's a win-win. I get a tiny commission. I can support my channel, and you get a solution to your content, live streaming, whatever needs. So it's a win-win. So make sure you go check out amazon.com/shop/Professor Nez. Link in the description. And I got everything organized for you. Okay. Without further ado, who's ready? Give me a hashtag yeah. Who's ready for our unbelievable guest? This gentleman is somebody I have so much reverence for, so much respect for. He is one of the most giving, and believe you me, I've been in this industry, like I said, since 1579. And I've met a lot of shysters. I met a lot of phonies. I met a lot of people who don't back up a word of what they put out there. Right? Tell me if you can feel me. Give me a hashtag. Feel me in the. That sounded terrible. Don't put hashtag feel me. Just put a hashtag yes if you feel me. Nez is going to get demonetized right off the bat. Kevin, we're in good shape, aren't we? This is what I love about going live. You never know what could happen. You never know what Nez is going to do. Podcast listeners, replay viewers, you got to be here on the live stream, man. So make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe. AL in the house. Good to see you, Anthony. Good to see. We got some great people. I'm sure they're coming from Sockz. Daryl in the house. Good to see you. He says he's ready. Fantastic. Good to see you, Daryl. Indians Exposed Investigation says, yeah, that's a great name for a channel right there. Jasmine's in the house. Good to see you. M. Mason in the house. Good to see you. Okay, no more talking. Let's bring on our guest. Like I said, this gentleman is, to me, in my mind, he's a legend. He is the real deal. One of the most giving human beings, never mind content creators, YouTubers, and business owners, but just an absolute good soul. Aside from all that, he's built an unbelievable business with his video content. His YouTube channel, Sockz Productions, gets 3.5. Y'all, listen to this. 3.5 million plus views a month. If you want some knowledge, you got to listen to this and you got to stick around. He's closing in on 300,000 subscribers in a niche that I guarantee you would never expect. So without further ado, Nez Nation, let's give a huge, this dude is in my heart. Let's give a huge, long overdue, warm welcome for my man, Kevin Crawford, Mr. Sockz. Yo, Kevin, how in the world are you, sir? I think you're on mute.
As I was on mute, man, but thank you so much. I'm doing well today. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm excited to see how this goes today.
Oh man, I can't tell you how excited I am, brother. And I don't know if even Sockz knows this. Hey, Car Galaxy Studios, good to see you. Hey, y'all, share this out because sharing is caring. Share it out on Twitter, share it out on LinkedIn, share it on Facebook, share it in your YouTube community tab. That would really mean a lot to us because replay viewers are going to get a ton of value from this too. I don't even know if you know this, Kevin, but Clubhouse, everybody, y'all know what Clubhouse is. Clubhouse came out, or at least it got on my radar, kind of the end of 2020, early 2021. And I was very skeptical, right? I was like, what is this app, man? Come on, give me a break. And then I saw a room that was called Grow Your YouTube Channel. And it was hosted by Kevin Crawford, Sockz, our unbelievable guest. And I went in there. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm all about YouTube. I love YouTube. I've been on YouTube forever. I go in there and I'd never, ever been on stage before. I've been in listening into rooms, and 99% of them, I was like, man, come on, give me a break. I started listening to Kevin, and Kevin just started like speaking from the heart, speaking on the real, helping every single person on stage, like in depth. I'm not just saying, he wasn't just saying like, well, you just got to be yourself. Sometimes you hear very kind of vague general advice. But anyway, long story short, I got up on stage and we connected. We started talking. I mean, I was in that room. My wife looked at me like, what in the world are you doing? I think I was in that room, Kev, for about 10 hours. It was the longest room to this day, I think. And we had all sorts of great content creators and YouTubers ended up coming into that room. And I remember Kevin gave me a green badge and he said, Nez, I'm going to make you a moderator because you're really providing value. And it wasn't one of those things like, oh, you're providing value. The point I'm trying to make, Nez Nation, is this gentleman, okay, I'm going to stop talking right now. This gentleman is so real and from the heart and genuine. You don't see that too often. Most of you guys think you have to be like somebody else to be successful. And I know Sockz is going to talk about this. I believe the reason Sockz is super successful is because when you are around him and when you're seeing his content and you're in his presence or even in the vicinity, you feel that genuineness. So I don't know if you even knew that. Did you even know that, Sockz, that you were the first time I was ever on stage on Clubhouse was in your room? Did you know that?
I did not know that, Nez. I had no idea. And you speak very well, and of course, you did a great job in the room. So I thought you was a pro at it, man. So it's definitely to have you in the room and be your first experience on
That was
Clubhouse.
insane. I mean, that was insane. And by the way, Nez Nation, everybody in the chat right now, if you have a question for Kevin, make sure you put a big giant Q, okay, in the comments, and then ask your question after it. I got my mods in the house who are going to help me with that. Good to see you, Car Galaxy Studios. Yeah, I love this comment right here. Talk to me a little bit, Kev. What was it? Because I love your story, how you picked up that Canon, camera, and then things started. What first drew you to YouTube and video content? And then we'll get into some really cool stuff about what people can learn from you and how they can monetize their content. But what started it off for you? I'm just really curious.
Yeah, so I'll try to shorten it because it definitely is a long story. But first off, I had no idea that I wanted to be a YouTuber. Like I was going to college for business management with the concentration in entrepreneurship. And I saw like people taking like graduation photos and making money from doing it. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make a quick $40 or $60, by just taking pictures. So I bought a Canon T5 and it was like a $300 camera back then. And I took a few pictures, made a little bit of money, but I just didn't enjoy it, honestly. So I had this camera, and my friend and her mom, they were actually cheerleading coaches at a local high school. So they asked me to come and take pictures of a cheerleading team for critiquing purposes. So I was like, all right, cool. I ain't doing nothing else with my camera. So I started taking the pictures and uploading all the pictures in this app called GroupMe. And it was a seamless process. Cool. Everything was straight. But then they asked me to start recording the cheerleaders for critiquing purposes to see like what cheerleaders are saying the words, what cheerleaders are like in unison with everybody, XYZ. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll do that. And I ran into a problem. And that problem was that GroupMe only allowed you to upload videos that were 30 seconds or less. So whenever I recorded a video longer than 30 seconds, I had to trim the video. And so that created like, just a bad experience for me and everybody else. And so I was like, okay, well, what can I do? So it was more of like trying to figure out a solution how I found YouTube. So the options were either I send the text messages to every cheerleader on the team, which is like 15 on JV and 15 on varsity. That's a lot of numbers to have and a lot of people to text. I was like, I'm not doing that. And then the other option was Dropbox, and I didn't know anything about it. And the other option was YouTube, which I knew nothing about. And so we started uploading videos on YouTube, and I would just take the link and then upload it into GroupMe and just wash my hands with it. And we started getting random views. It was maybe about like 100 views we would average on our videos. And at the time
Hey,
I was
that's not
thinking,
bad to start off.
yeah, it's not.
That's
And
really
at the
good.
time
I
I
was
was
getting like
thinking,
5.
yeah, at the time I was thinking that
That's pretty good.
they were just sharing the videos with like their friends and family because it's cool to be on
Yeah.
YouTube and stuff. But then we started getting random comments, and I realized like these videos were public, and I didn't understand YouTube back then. I thought okay, if you send the videos to people, then they'll watch them. I didn't know it was an algorithm and all of that stuff. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I found YouTube, and I've been doing it ever since. So
Yeah, man, that's it's I love your honesty too because a lot of people are like they think like, "Oh yeah, man, I'll just post some videos on YouTube and then I'll just make $1 million." It's just like, "Wait a minute, hold up, hold up. You got to understand like unless you've got an editor or you're hiring a videographer, what have you, even the back end of YouTube can be kind of complicated, right? Like uploading a video, having a title, a description, where do I put the what's a thumbnail, what's a tag, what's a keyword, right? And
mhm,
when you first started out, were you and you started seeing traction,
mhm.
what was it that to you were like, wow, this is okay, this is what I need to do? What was that aha moment like, wait a minute, this is not just putting videos up. This is not just sharing with friends or what have you. I mean, 3.5 million views a month now. When did you start, Kevin? What year? Do you mind if I ask?
Yeah, I started in 2016.
2016. So I started my YouTube channel, I think 2018, 2017, or at least
Mhm.
this one right here. Fantastic. So we pretty much started at the same time. What was that moment where you were like, wait a minute, this is not just, like, because I think a lot of people use it as Dropbox in the beginning. It's funny you say
Mhm.
Dropbox because a lot of people just used it as like a content repository, just a place to store videos. Like you were saying, not knowing that there's an algorithm and stuff. What was
Mhm.
that moment where you're like, this is bigger than that?
Money. So Nez, like, I'll be honest, it was money for me. So
No,
I
no,
had
no. I
just
love
graduated.
that.
It
That's what
was
we're
money
talking
for
about.
me. It was
Yeah.
money for me. So in 2015, I graduated from college. So I got my first real apartment. I got all these credit cards. I maxed out all my credit cards. I was in debt. I was only making like 900 every 2 weeks at my job, like 30,000 a year. My rent was 905. I was struggling financially. So my account would always be in the negatives and stuff. So I was making this content, and I think in 2017, I was averaging about $400 a month. So on YouTube and just ad revenue. So I'm like, that's great money. It's paying my car payment. But then I got this mindset. Well, if I can make 400, I can make 500. If I can make 500, I can make 600. So like, I just need to work a little harder. I need to make more videos or make better videos. And so I'll never forget, man. I worked at a financial institution. I was in back office sales, and I used to take my break. We had 15-minute breaks. It was like a call center. And I would take my 15-minute breaks with my best friend walking around, just like the Wells Fargo building. That's where I used to work. And so I checked my ad revenue for the month, and it was $800.
Oh my God.
And I was like, listen,
Huge.
there's no customer service for YouTube. So there's nobody I can call just to verify if this was a mistake or not. Either way, you put the 800 in my account. I'm gonna go ahead and take this $800 out my account right now because I feel like y'all made a mistake, because I was so used to averaging 400. That's all I really thought my channel was worth. And so I'll never forget, that was the moment everything changed for me. And then the next month it was like $1,283.
Woo.
The next month it was 2,600. So I'm like,
Oh,
all right, cool. I got to go talk to my manager now, right? So I go talk to my manager. I'm like, hey, I need to leave work early every day. And he's like, why? I said, because I got to record cheerleaders. And he was like, cheerleaders? I was like, yeah, look. And I showed him like my YouTube analytics or whatever. And at this time, I'm making more money on YouTube than I am at Wells Fargo. So I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, I got to prioritize that. So yeah, that's the moment that everything shifted for me. Though I'll just try to shorten it up, but yeah.
No, 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 man. You're doing I love this because, the reason Kevin can teach us so much, y'all. And by the way, again, if you have any questions for our awesome guest, and I'm glad you talked about cheerleading because I think there's probably a lot of people right now going, cheerleading? What? Because I was the same way too. I was like, cheerleading. And I'm sure you get that a lot. And
Yeah.
I know you're going to bust some serious wisdom on that because one of the things we always try to talk about here on Des Nation is being very specific and niching down your channel, not just talking about all real estate, but maybe be specific, not just talking about all business, but being more specific, not just talking about all cooking, right? Et cetera, et cetera. I love this because, I think there's a lot of people who don't understand that this is where people are going now. This is where people are eat, sleeping, and breathing now. And if you can take advantage of that large viewership, and if you can take advantage of the immensity and scale that YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, etc., is, the full-time income, the more than full-time income, I mean, this is not anything new, is so feasible. I think most people don't understand how feasible this is, right? So I love where you're going. And that was actually going to be my next question was, how did you, Kevin, where did you and cheerleading come in? Do you mind talking just a little bit about that? Like where cheerleading and why that niche specifically?
Yeah, like I said earlier, Nez, I didn't know that I wanted to be a YouTuber. I was kind of just asked to record cheerleaders. So I didn't have no interest in cheerleading at all. I didn't care about it. I like the girls, I like cheerleaders, they look good or whatever,
I love
but
it.
like, yeah, I didn't have interest. Like I dated a cheerleader in college and that's how
That's
we,
awesome.
started all of this stuff. So yeah, like I was, I didn't care for cheerleading at all. I just thought they were just there, they're, cheering and stunting and throwing each other in the air and flipping. I just didn't pay attention to it. And so as I started recording cheerleading content, I cared more about it. And now I just realized that it's bigger than me. Like I see how many opportunities I've created, not just for like my team members, but also for the programs that we work with. So we increase like membership and we can increase, of course, prices and stuff like that too. If you work with me and stuff, because you get so much exposure and ticket sales would increase for games and all of that. So it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me. I got to
Yeah.
continue going and continue growing. So
Hey, and let me add one thing too. I've got a cousin who is heavy, heavy into cheerleading, and I think they're a subscriber of your channel. If they're not, get on it now. But let me tell you something. I've seen because I help people. You know this, Kevin. I consult. I help people with their channels. I've seen niches that I never knew there was I'd never believe in a million years there'd be an audience for. Right? I mean, this is the power. I think they say the riches are in the niches, right? I mean, the power of narrowing your scope, the power of focusing on something specific. And I know the people who are heavy into cheerleading, that
mhm.
is a very complex art, right? It's not just, a lot of people might not understand it. And we always maybe jump to conclusions, right? The things we don't understand. I'm sure you've come to a larger understanding, just like, I have with my gaming channel, in the slot community. I'm totally blown away by the in-depthness and the artfulness and the TV gamesmanship and showmanship that's involved in that niche. I've got another channel that we've been growing really beautifully with my wife. Um, I know that the cheerleading niche is extremely complex, and it's not just people doing cartwheels, right? I mean, it's heavy choreography, etc., right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, here's what I want to ask you. And guys, don't forget, put a giant Q in the chat if you have a question for Kevin. And then also, replay viewers, podcast listeners, there is a questionnaire form in the description. And if you want to ask a question, if you're not here live, go ahead and you can leave a question in that questionnaire form and we'll get to it and we'll respond to it. Okay. So, what did you do next? Did you actually quit your Wells Fargo job, Kevin? Because I think the last number you said, and I don't know if I don't want to get too personal if you want to mention
That's it.
revenue numbers.
We can talk about it. That's
Okay,
fine.
so after the last number you mentioned was 2,600 a month.
Yeah.
Was that and you showed your manager? Did your manager must have just flipped out? Did
he
you?
couldn't he couldn't believe it.
He couldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it if I was your manager at Wells Fargo. I'd be like, "Are you crazy?" Let Tell me what happened next.
Yeah.
So you knew, hey, I'm not just making. I mean, by the way, I know a ton of people. Let me know in the chat. Give me a hashtag me if you wouldn't love $400 a month. I would. I know a lot of people would, right? Once you started getting past 2,600, because I know it probably grew from there. What were the
Yeah.
next steps? What did you do? How did you approach your video content differently in order to maximize that?
Yeah. So, man, I'm trying to make sure that I'm not taking too long on the answer, but I also
No,
want
no,
to
no,
give
man.
y'all
Go in depth,
everything.
man. This is all you.
Yeah. So okay, all right. So this was like the summer of 2018 when I was making about 2,600. So at the end of 2018, I was making like 4,000 a month. And I told you I
Woo!
was in debt. I was in debt. So I was struggling financially. So I'm like, okay, I need to get out of this. So I broke my lease. I slept on my friend's floor for 4 months. And I literally took like the YouTube income and like, Wells Fargo income. And I worked at Taco Bell as a manager night shift. And I paid off all of my debt, right? So I got out of debt and then I was like restarted or whatever. And I kind of, got my apartment going again and stuff. Um, it took me 4 months to get out of debt basically. And so I remember like my manager. So my senior manager was the one that I went to ask, can I leave work early or whatever. And so I had direct reports. I had like a team lead and I had like a supervisor that I had to report to. And they used to do my coaching sessions. But because, I showed my manager, type of money I was making, I was real transparent with him and stuff. Like he started to become more interested in me, like pushing me forward in life, right? He was like, forget Wells Fargo. You're not going to be here long. Let's focus on you as a person, right? And so he really poured into me. He played a very pivotal role in the
Man,
reason
who's
why
this
I'm where I
manager
am.
guy? I've never heard a manager be that cool.
Man, listen, and a lot of the things he instilled in me, I try to take to my team and stuff now too. So,
Wow.
and I talk to him very often. We in a mastermind group together and everything too. Still,
Is he
so
on YouTube too now?
nah, he's not. He's not.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not. But so he showed me in my very last coaching session. I had no idea it was going to be my last coaching session. He showed me a video on from Steve Harvey on YouTube called Jump. And basically in the video, it was talking about, just take that leap of faith. Your parachute may not open up when you first
I
jump
love
off the
Steve
cliff.
Harvey. Yeah.
Yeah, but eventually it will open up. And so he closed the laptop. He was like, Kevin, I want you to jump. And I'm like, you crazy. Like, I ain't jumping. I'm not quitting this job. Only thing I could think about was like my mom in the back of my head,
Of
like, boy, you got
course.
some good benefits. You better not quit that job. You're making good money. And so what really like helped me make this decision was he said, Kevin, if you fail, I'll hire you back. And I was like, that's all I need.
Man,
So
this guy deserves a plaque, dude. This guy
man,
deserves an award.
listen, the best person I ever met, man.
That's
But
amazing.
yeah, and so I took that leap of faith. So on my 3-year anniversary at Wells Fargo, April 11th, 2019, I got my 3-year award plaque, and I also gave my farewell speech in that moment. And I just told all my team members that they can do it too. They don't have to be here, suffering and doing things they don't enjoy doing. I
Right.
was 25 years old. It was 2019 when I went full time on YouTube. So
That's amazing. And do you mind if I ask what were the revenue numbers in
I was
2019?
probably making like 6,000 a month on YouTube then.
I mean, that's full time. That's like the median income in, at least in North America. I mean, that's crazy, man. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's so cool, Kev. Thank you so much for sharing that. Guys, isn't that phenomenal? I mean, like I'm so moved by your manager. I mean, I don't, the mentorship and the guidance and the push that this manager gave you. I mean, this guy deserves his own Wells Fargo store, his own. I don't know, but he should be doing motivational videos on YouTube, man.
Yeah, he
This guy
should.
sounds great. So you quit Wells Fargo. You started going
Mm,
full time in 2019.
yeah.
Up until that point, what were some of the biggest sort of hurdles that you faced in really growing your YouTube channel and really growing this into you were you at in 2019 when you decided to go full time, were you doing everything yourself, the editing, the
Yes.
thumbnails, the
Yes.
shooting, everything?
Everything.
Yeah.
I was recording, editing, marketing, whatever, everything. I did everything. I didn't have help at all.
What would you say were the hours you were putting in a week, doing all that by yourself?
A lot. Like, and I was traveling an hour to the cheer practices and the games and stuff. And I was traveling an hour back home. I lived in a completely different city. The videos would probably take me about like maybe 4 hours to edit. I mean, yeah, it took a lot. It was a lot of time, a lot of like headache, a lot of like uncertainty. But I think the biggest challenge for me was realizing that I needed help, but like letting go of something to actually receive help. And so my first set of employees, I hired 3 people. I took my 401k. I had like a little 401k saved up or whatever. And I
Wow.
hired some team members and I didn't know
Wow.
what I was doing. I was just throwing away money.
You took a leap of faith. You jumped.
I did. I mean, I
Wow.
messed all that money up too. I never forget, and I know exactly who these three people are. But they didn't stick around long. I remember I had to fire somebody, and it was just a lot, man. They took a lot of my money. They didn't really do nothing, but it's because I didn't know how to like communicate my vision to them and my expectations to them, and I hired them for roles that didn't make me money. So I learned a lot from that. So that was probably my biggest struggle or biggest challenge during this whole period. And now, I employ, I think it's 5 team members now.
That's
Um,
amazing.
3 is in North Carolina, 1 is in New York, and 1 is in Baltimore, Maryland. So, and
Do you
we just got
regret
off.
do you regret not hiring people from the beginning, or do you think you did it at the right time?
I think I did it at the right time
Perfect.
because I needed to be able to tell them what to do.
Right.
Because I'm hiring a lot of people without any experience.
Right. And plus, you know, because I get this question all the time, Kevin. I don't know if you do, but I get this question all the time. It's like, Nez, should I hire a video editor? Should I hire a graphic designer? Should I hire a social media manager? And like, I don't know. Like, if you have the budget, this is my response. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. If you have
Mhm,
the budget, and let's say if you're a business and you're established as a presence and a brand, of course, you probably can afford that. And yes, I would say that's a wise investment. Most
mhm.
of us and most of the Nez Nation audience are like you and me, where we're solopreneurs, we're content creators, live streamers, podcasters, professionals, executives who don't maybe have a huge team already or a huge company already. We're doing this primarily on our own. My wife and I, we do this all on our own. Um, I like what you said there. You said, it was the right time for me, and you started off all by yourself, learning what I like to call the kind of ropes and wearing the clothes of YouTube, breaking in, understanding the platform, understanding audience, understanding community, and that's what I kind of wanted to ask you. And I love this comment from Jenny. Good to see you, Jenny, on LinkedIn. So motivated by your perseverance and positive attitude. And isn't he great, y'all? Isn't Kev great? Kevin is so, like I said at the beginning, he's just got a great soul, and I attribute that to his success. Let me ask you this, Kevin, and guys, please, if you have a question, type a big capital Q, and then ask your question after that. Leave that in the comments. Replay viewers, feel free to use the questionnaire form. Um, when you started, increasing and growing your channel,
Mhm.
we know that one of the most important things is, just like any business, if you don't have customers, you don't have a business. If you don't have viewers, if you don't have an audience, you don't have a YouTube channel. What were you focusing on in the early stages, 2018, 2019, to get that revenue up, to get those views up? No, right now you're averaging 3.5 million a month, which is phenomenal. In 2018, 2019, how many views were you getting a month, would you say? Do you know?
I don't know. I
Okay.
don't know back then.
Okay, probably half of what you're getting now, if not less, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely half or less.
And so let me ask you this, because this is what I think is so important. What do you attribute that initial growth to? What were you focusing on besides camera, besides equipment, besides, the kind of analytics, etc.? What were some things that you're like, okay, I need to focus on this. I need to really, really go all in on this. And looking back, was there something that maybe you didn't focus enough on and you wish you did?
Yeah. So, okay, the two things I can think about that I did focus on was like quantity. So I was like, the more videos I make, the more money I make. That's just the formula. That's how it
I
works for
love it.
real. Like
Yep.
the more money, the more videos you make, the more money you make. That's just what it is, right? So I was like, I need to record every opportunity that I can. Like any chance to record content, I'm gonna record it. And any opportunity to take a day that I recorded something and make it 2 separate videos, I'm gonna do that. Like that was my mindset because like I needed to stay afloat. I needed to make sure I didn't go back to corporate America. And so um, that was one of the focuses. Another focus was analytics. So I started paying closer attention. I had went to a meetup in Orlando, Florida, that Daryl Eves had. And I remember going in that room. This was probably in the 2018, 2019 stage. I remember going in that room and it was a room full of YouTubers. And it was like an event, of course, for YouTubers. And he had everybody raise their hand. He was like, raise your hand if you have 100 subscribers. So everybody had their hands raised. He was like, raise your hand if you have 1,000. And some people kept putting their hands down or whatever. He was like 10,000. And I had my hand up. I still had 10,000. And he was like 100,000. I was like, I put my hand down. I'm looking around the room and people still had their hands up. And he
Wow.
was like 200,000. People still had their hands up. 300,000. I'm like, what? Like, I'm in a room with all these people. Like, I'm not doing enough. Like, they have 300,000 subscribers. I'm not doing enough. Like, and it really pushed me. And so during that event, like Daryl Eves talked about analytics and like how to read your data. I wasn't really paying attention to that. It was just more so quantity,
Right.
like more videos. And so when he started showing us like average view duration, retention graphs, and click-through rate, and like the importance of the click, and how a click is half the battle. It doesn't matter what's inside the video if they don't click on the video. When I started getting all of those principles and like, that whole mindset of like just studying analytics, that changed the game for me. I saw him do a lot of YouTube channel audits in front of us for these big channels. So he would like pull their channel up on the screen and they're making, let's say like $8,000, $10,000 a month on YouTube with all of these subscribers and stuff. And he's like, you're not doing this and you're not doing that. You need to focus on this. I'm like, dang, he just ripped it apart in front of everybody. I took that home. And back then, YouTube used to show you, they probably still do. They used to show you like the percentage increases in revenue, watch time, and views. And so I'm not lying to you. Like they were up by hundreds, like 700%, like
Wow.
999%, like greater than, like all my percentages increased significantly because I started focusing on all the things that Daryl Eves talked about. So those are the two things that I started to focus on that really was a game changer for me: quantity and analytics. And then just trying to recap, because I talk a lot. And then
No, you're perfect. You're perfect.
the thing that I wish that I would have focused on more was branding. So I had an opportunity with where a rapper named Drake, he used one of my YouTube videos in his song on his new album. It's
Wait,
the
Drake
song is
Drake?
called,
Like the
yeah,
Drake?
Drake. Yeah, Drake.
Wow.
Yeah, the whole instrumental was a
Wow.
YouTube video of mine.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah,
That's
and
amazing,
so
man. Drake's like the biggest rapper of all, like right now there is, isn't he?
yeah, he's an
That's
A-list
amazing, dude.
celebrity
I
for
didn't
real.
know that. See, you see how humble Kevin is? Kevin just mentions there's this rapper out there. That's like me saying there's this basketball player out there named Michael Jordan. Like, you know who he
Right.
is, right? He's just nobody.
Yeah,
I
well,
love I love how humble you are, Kev. Good for you,
yeah.
man.
So he had used one of my YouTube videos in his song for the instrumental. And so
Wow.
I woke up and woke up to all these text messages and like, FaceTime calls and stuff. And people was like, "Oh my God, did you hear it?" I'm like, "No." So I like listened to it. I'm listening to the song, like, man, I made it. Like, I made it. Like, I'm like, this is really my YouTube video. And then
That's amazing.
it hit me like, but like, they didn't get permission. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't,
Oh, snap.
yeah, it hit me like I didn't talk to Drake or his team at so what do I do? Right. So then a
Yeah.
lot of people start coming at me like, you should sue him, da 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 da, all that. So I sat down, made a video, and I tagged them, I tagged people in his team and stuff. I sent it to them in DMs or whatever. And I was using I'm gonna try to wrap it up. I was using the
No,
app
no, no, you're
called
good.
Community. I was using the app called Community where I can send out mass text messages to our supporters. And come to find out, I had deactivated the community number because I didn't feel like it was effective. Like I felt like all the people who would text me would also be all the people who will watch our videos anyway. So I don't need to remind them that we dropping a video. So I just canceled it. It was $100 a month, and I'm real frugal. I don't like to spend a lot of money. And so yeah, when I reinstated it because I thought, hey, maybe I need to pick this back up. I reinstated it and I saw a text message on August 3rd from Drake's team asking me to use the content. So I'm like, dang, like I missed this opportunity. And so I'm saying all this to say that what I would focus on, what I wish I would have focused on in the past, which I'm really focused on now, is branding.
Yes.
Because if I
Treating
had a
it like a
branded,
business, treating it like a business. I
because
love that.
if I would have branded myself appropriately or like, in the right ways, it wouldn't have been a question as to who to get in contact with. Like they would have not just text that phone number, but also they
That's
would have
so
been able to
good.
find my email address,
That's so good.
find my Instagram. They would have known exactly like my face, like they would know exactly who I am. They would know the person they need to get in contact with. So that's one thing that I wish I would have focused on. But
Oh, man,
yeah.
I love that. That's so, so good. I love it, Kevin. I mean, guys, if you're not taking notes on everything that he just said, if you want to grow, if you want to build, if you want revenue and income, if you want the kind of dollar bills that Two Socks is getting monthly, yearly, holy macadamia nut. Can you imagine? This is a full-time empire for him. Drake's using his content, for crying out loud. You have to understand your analytics. You got to understand what's important. You got to understand what gets your videos the kind of views that you can build a real community, build impact. What do we always talk about here? Impact is always before income. You can't make income without impact. And so Kev is, I mean, sharing some serious, serious knowledge. Understand and interpret your data so you can apply that to every single video. Quantity. You know, I'm so happy you mentioned quantity, Two Socks, because speaking of Clubhouse, bringing it right back around, and then I want to ask a question from Computer Pal Inc. Remember, guys, type a
Okay.
Q if you have a question in the chat. We've got him for at least another 15, 20 minutes. Please type a Q. He's going to answer all your questions. I'm glad you said quantity because there was a person who worked at YouTube on Clubhouse about 6, 7 months ago. And they were saying that, you know, YouTube won't penalize your channel if you want to take a break. And I was blown away by that because I was like, that's false. They will penalize your channel for taking a break. Yeah, you can take a break. Not to say you shouldn't take a break. You should take a break, but don't think that your channel is just going to keep growing. It's just not. I mean, your views are going to dip and they're going to dip big time. I like how you said quantity because a lot of people don't talk about the fact that it's not set it and forget it. A lot of people think YouTube can be a passive income stream or whatever. It's just not. There's nothing passive about YouTube. If you're not posting consistently, and I also think quantity leads to quality too. But if you're not posting consistently and you're posting regularly, there's a billion channels out there and your audience will flip on you and leave in a heartbeat if you're not providing. So I love how you started with quantity because that's, to me, that's huge. Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wanted
go
to
ahead,
yeah, I wanted to talk about that really quickly too. So,
please.
okay. All right, when it comes to quantity, all right, I want y'all to think about dating, right? So, a lot of people don't know this, but back in 2005, the idea of YouTube was for it to be a video-based dating site. So, believe it or not, they wanted it to be a video-based dating site, the founders of YouTube, so that you can't catfish people. So, if my name is Kevin and I want to have a good time, I said that in video. Like, you can't screenshot that or like, falsify it at all. I said that is exactly what I look like, right? And so that was a great idea, I think. But they realized that a lot of people started uploading random videos, and it wasn't videos used for dating. So the very first video on YouTube was called "Me at the Zoo," and so it was a guy. He's at the zoo. He got his camera phone, and he's like showing animals behind him, and it's probably like 16 seconds or 18 seconds long or something like that. And so the founders of YouTube quickly realized, hey, people aren't using this platform to date. They're using this platform to just upload videos. And so they changed the whole structure of it to be about video only and scratch the dating, right? And then the very next year they sold YouTube to Google for $1.65 billion in 2006. And so I always tell that backstory. I host events here in Charlotte about YouTube as well. I always, tell that backstory because it's still relevant to this day. When you think about dating, right? If you don't show up for that girl, if you don't take her out on them dates, like she's gonna eventually find somebody else to keep her interested. So you got to stay in their face. And then, like you said, Nez, quantity leads to quality, right? So like eventually after you date her a while, now she'll let you take the fork and put the spaghetti in her mouth, whereas on the first date, she probably wouldn't let you do that, right? Y'all have more of a connection, more of a relationship. You got better with her, right? And so just take that with y'all. Like whenever y'all creating content, just think about it as like it's a relationship with the people. And yeah, if you're not consistently uploading videos, if you do decide to take a break, right? It's not necessarily that YouTube is penalizing you, but it's the people are finding love elsewhere. They're going other places. They are going to watch De'Ara and Ken now. They're going to go watch the highlights for LeBron James now because they're also interested in
I like
other
the way you said
content.
that.
Yeah, outside of yours.
Yeah,
Like
it's not
they
it's
don't.
not YouTube penalizing you, the viewers are penalizing you.
Yeah, That's what it
Which I
is.
mean, it's all about the viewer, right? It's all about the audience. Just like Amazon, Amazon cares mostly about the customer, right? They don't care about us influencers
Nope.
or the people who have shops and do live streaming on Amazon. They care about the customer. YouTube doesn't care about us content creators. I mean, they do, but they care all. It's all about the viewer. So I love the way you said that, man.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. Hey, Kev,
Yep. Hey.
are you ready to take a couple of questions?
Yes, I am. Please ask some questions, y'all. Put a big
If you're
Q
getting
and then
if you're
put your
getting
question.
fire knowledge from Kevin, I want a big hashtag yeah in the chat. I want a big hashtag, capital hashtag yeah, if you're getting absolute wisdom grenades from my man Two Socks, because I know I am. And I'm just like taking notes. I'm just like, wow, I love everything that you're saying, Kev, because I think this is absolutely key in the creator economy. I think now, even before people were saying 2016, I think if you started a YouTube channel when Kevin and I did, I think you're at a lesser advantage than you are now, because I know Kevin will back me up on this. When we first started on YouTube, YouTube was nowhere near the live streaming, the presence, the respect and credibility in the mainstream. YouTube now is the mainstream. So I love that you said that. So Computer Pal Inc. has a question. I don't know if you
Okay.
can see it right now, Kev, on the
Yes.
screen. He says, "How did you find your niche?" You kind of touched on this earlier, but maybe you can kind of rehash that.
Okay. Yes. Yes. So I did touch on this one earlier. So I was basically I had a Canon T5. I just had a camera. I thought I wanted to be a photographer for colleges, right? Take graduation photos, and that didn't really happen. And so my friend and her mom asked me to come and take pictures of cheerleaders, and then they eventually asked me to record cheerleaders, and that's how I got into cheerleading.
I love it. Okay, we got another question. That's a great response. We got another question from QC Javi. I hope I'm saying that right, or if it's Javi, I apologize. He says, "How are you adapt?" This is a great question because a lot of people talk about, and I do too, having an omnipresence and not just putting all your eggs in the YouTube basket.
Mhm.
I'm sure your content has some amazing cross-platform value. Are you using any new platforms like TikTok? Are you adapting? What's your process like there, Kev?
I need to use TikTok. We have a TikTok, but it's not being used right now. Right now, what I'm seeing a lot of like growth in is our Instagram side, and we had an Instagram for a while, but I brought on a team member that is our social media manager, and she's been focused on like creating reels and like creating more traffic to go to like our Patreon accounts and go watch our YouTube videos whenever they release and stuff. And so that's definitely bringing us new viewers, and I think it's something that we need to push like forward, like being on all these other platforms too, because you're not going to be on YouTube 24/7. A lot of people do spend a lot of their time on Instagram and on TikTok. So we need to be in their face over there too.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Hey, Kev, let me ask you something. Now that I love this comment right here too. Always dropping wisdom.
I love
Um,
V. V is one of our number one supporters of our YouTube channel.
oh, that's awesome.
Shout out to you,
Awesome.
V. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, nice to have you here, V. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. I love it. I love the two socks followers are here. I love it. It's fantastic. Deja Denise in the house. What a great name for your channel. I love that. Um, Let me ask you something, Kev, and then we're going to wrap up here in another couple of minutes. If you have any last minute questions, y'all leave it in the chat. Okay, Sinov has a question. You know what? I'm going to get to her question.
Okay.
Yes, you're right, AL. AL says this is a master class. It is.
Oh
It
man.
is.
Thank
See,
you,
Kevin, you
Anthony.
always dropping the knowledge, man.
I
Okay,
try.
Sinov is here. Says, how do you plan your content and manage your time wearing so many hats as a creator and entrepreneur? What a great question.
I love that question too. So okay, great question. I really like this question. So fortunately, I don't have to plan content. That is a beautiful thing. I don't have to sit and like actually come up with the content. We just show up to cheer practice and we record. And whatever they do at cheer practice becomes an episode. Whatever they do at the cheer competitions becomes an episode. Whatever they do at the outings that they take, we're just there with a camera, it becomes an episode, right? So because I wear so many hats as a creator, I had to let some of this like responsibility go. So now I don't record cheerleading content anymore. I don't really edit cheerleading content anymore. I have team members to kind of do that stuff for me. So then I can, instead of working in the business, now I can work on the business. And because I'm able to
Yeah.
work on the business, we're able to like scale and grow 10 times faster than if I would have been trying to do it all by myself. And I probably would have been burnt out by now because I told y'all I started in 2016. So delegating tasks, understanding that I need to let stuff go and that you can train people to be in your role or take over this position. And Mr. B said something in a clubhouse room that really like stuck out to me. He said that 80%, no, so we can only give 100%, right? And he said 80% from 5 people is better than 100% from you. And I was like, oh yeah, that's so true. And that's, that's what I needed to hear, to be able to trust other people to like take on some of this responsibility. So now I have, team members, some might be giving 70%, some might be giving 65, some might be giving 90. But it's still more than what I could do by myself.
I love that. Absolutely. That's a great answer. And also delegate your time. Time management is a huge skill as a content creator and a business owner. And make sure, if you can, focus on prioritize. I would just add to what Kevin's saying, prioritize things as a solo or what have you. What are the top 3 things, 4 things I need to take care of? And do the heavy stuff first. Do the most difficult, bottleneck clearing items first, and you'll alleviate anxiety, and then get to the easy stuff later. Okay, but tackle those big projects. Kev, we got another great question here
Mhm.
from Computer Pal Inc. And then I'm going to actually, this is going to be our last question, and then I'm going to ask Kevin to talk a little bit about what's he doing now, and he's going to leave some serious knowledge. So stick around. Kev, Computer Pal Inc. says, I'd love to leave my corporate job, but I'm concerned about benefits. How do you handle that?
Uh, Okay, great question. And it's a great concern to have too. Um, thankfully, like I don't get sick or anything like that. Often, like I'm fairly healthy and stuff like that. So like insurance is not really like a big deal for me for real. But when you have a business, you can get insurance with your business. So yeah, it's gonna cost, it's gonna cost some money now. But you can get insurance not only for yourself, but also for your team members as well. So I believe that if you are in a position to leave your corporate job, then you probably are making enough money to be able to give yourself a plan, to be able to have insurance. So yeah, don't let that be the reason why you don't leave your job. Just make more money.
And there's nothing wrong, because I did this. Like, I was teaching at the university 10, 15 classes a semester because they totally exploit adjunct professors. And I, was started my YouTube channel, started my Snapchat, started my website while I was teaching full time, right? And it wasn't until I started seeing the business grow and grow and grow. I still was, I still teach a couple of classes. I taught it 2 classes this. I don't even need to, but I
Mhm.
love teaching. And also, it worked out for me that I was able to add that to my schedule. And so you don't have to it's not an end all be all kind of thing. It's not like you have to quit your job to go into YouTube. I would never advocate for that. What I would say, and I'd love to hear what Kevin has to say about this, start it as a side hustle first. Do it on the weekends only first. Do with any free time that you have if you're really committed. Listen to how committed Kevin is. Kevin, this guy took out money in his 401k. He took the leap of faith. He quit his Wells Fargo job. You were still working at Wells Fargo until, how many years were you on YouTube until you were still working at Wells Fargo? 2, 3 years?
Yeah, so I started at Wells Fargo in 2016. I
Yeah.
started on YouTube in
Yeah.
2016. So I worked
So
at Wells Fargo for 3 whole years while YouTube was my side gig.
that's right. So
YouTube
don't make it.
overtook.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Don't make it your major hustle. It's not a matter of you have to. As a matter of fact, you could, with all intents and purposes, still keep your benefits and still have a thriving YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Right, Kev?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Like, yeah, you definitely can. Like, and now I can go to work right now if I wanted to. I
I have
definitely
one
agree.
last question, and then I'm gonna have one last question, and then I'm gonna have Kev close us out. AJ, my man AJ, who's an amazing content creator, helps people with their videos, video production. He is another dude I met in Kevin's rooms. Okay,
Yes, yes.
the OG of Clubhouse is Kevin. A lot of people don't know that. He says, not related to video. My son is on a high school competition cheer team. That's awesome. Who are some people I can send a highlight video to for scholarship opportunities? I don't know if Kevin can answer that. Can you?
Yeah, I wish I could. But what I would advise, AJ, thank you so much for being here. Yes, I do remember him from that picture as well on Clubhouse. Always drop great knowledge, and Anthony too. Um, but what I will say is just send like whatever school that he's interested in. I would recommend just sending his highlight tapes or his highlight videos to them directly. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, I love these comments too. We got some great comments from Car Galaxy Studios. The key is not to leave the job before you're ready to.
Mhm.
I love this comment from QC. Get a part time with benefits as you grow the income. Once it exceeds, go full time. Yeah, be smart about this, y'all. Be smart
Yeah.
about this. One of the things I really am against is people saying, your 9 to 5 is killing you, or 9 to 5 is a waste of time, or your 9 to 5. No, it couldn't be further from the truth. One of the things I hope you guys have understood with this channel is we try to give you the real deal transparency anchored in reality, practical tools and strategies to monetize in the creator economy. There's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5, y'all. And as a matter of fact, there's a lot of people who aren't built. They don't maybe have the right programming to be a business owner. It takes it. I mean, you ask Kevin, sometimes I see those
Man.
numbers and I should only look at quarterly reports. But me, I'm always in my dashboards. I'm like, man, we dropped 30% yesterday. Why are we
Mhm.
up 10% today? I mean, being an entrepreneur and a business owner, it's the scariest roller coaster of your life. Now, if you have the right DNA and you can handle that and you understand the ebb and flow, by all means. But I think having a 9 to 5, a secure gig, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And maybe getting a side hustle on the side, getting an extra 50, forget 300, 400, but even getting an extra 50, $75 a month, that could go towards gas, groceries, your internet bill, your electric bill. I mean, for the love of God, that's what the creator economy is all about. There's so many opportunities. So it doesn't have to be full time necessarily, but if that's your mission, that's your objective, and that's what you want for your own freedom, then there's so many possibilities. Hey, Kev, I want to first say before I ask my last question,
Okay.
and give me a big time hashtag yeah if you got some serious value from this conversation and from my man Two Socks. I want a huge hashtag, capital hashtag yeah in the chat right now. Kevin, I want to ask you this. If there's one thing you can leave our audience with, you've been on YouTube for going
Mm.
on, 7 years almost. If there's one thing somebody out there, a content creator, a video content creator, somebody who's on YouTube, somebody who's starting on YouTube, in all your years of doing this, what are just a couple of things you can leave them with that will really help them make some income with their video content? The floor is yours, sir.
Oh man. I'm real direct.
Did I
I'm,
put
I'm
you on the
real.
spot?
Yeah, no, it's cool. And I wanted to really like really talk from the heart on this. But the first thing that came to my mind is was like you are the only reason why you are successful or why you aren't successful. And so, like, we cannot, like, a lot of people, I've come across a lot of creators that talk about the algorithms not in their favor, or like, their content is so niche that whatever, right? Like, you have to figure out that way to like turn that thing up. Like, you have to do that. And you are the only reason why you are successful or why you aren't successful. Anything is possible. You can do anything. My content is cheerleading. I am full time as a creator in the cheerleading world. Like, who would have thought that? Had no interest in cheerleading at all. And this is within a matter of like what, 6 years, just 6 years taking it serious. And now I can't make less than 5 figures now. Like I can't accidentally make 4 figures now. Like, so like turn up, man. Like be about what you talk about. Don't just talk. There's a lot of people that talk about what they want to do. Don't just talk about it. Like actually put that work in. Rewire your brain. I think school has taught us to complete assignments. This is something that I used to think about why people said like, don't try to grow up so fast. Like stay a kid while you're young, whatever. They talk about how being a parent or being an adult is so difficult. But I think it's because in school and all throughout life, we're taught to complete assignments, right? So like that teacher will put that test on your desk and you got to complete that assignment, right? That homework assignment, you got to take it home, you got to complete that. We're given assignments. But in life, we create our own assignments and we're not used to doing that, right? So we have to rewire our brains to create our own assignments and complete them. And that is like, if you could just do that for yourself, not just as a YouTube creator, but like in life, like you will be successful in whatever it is that you want to do.
I love it. I absolutely love it, Kev. I knew it, man. It was just been a long time coming to have Mr. Crawford on the show. I just want you to know, man, you have the golden ticket anytime you want to come back on the show. As a matter of fact, I almost guarantee everybody who's listening and watching right now, replay viewers, live viewers, we're going to have Kevin probably come on our show again for sure, because we only really scratched the surface. This man has so much to offer. He can help us monetize in the creator economy, create real impact with audiences, build real businesses. And so I really, really want to extend that golden ticket to you, sir, and just a huge kudos, a huge congratulations to all your success. It is capital M, much deserved. And I just know you're going to keep on crushing it and keep on killing it. Why don't you do this, Kev? Tell everybody, where, if you want to, where they can find you if they're curious or they're interested, and how they can reach out to you in your different entities.
Yeah. So on Instagram, my name is Two Socks. It's actually on the screen beside my name, TWO_SOCKZ.
I love your stories, man. He's got great stories. You need to check him out on Instagram.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Nez. So yeah, that's my personal Instagram, and then my Two Socks Productions Instagram is Two Socks Productions. So productions is spelled with an S on the end, and then that's also my YouTube channel as well. And then if you like to email me, my email address is twosocksproductions@gmail.com. Just make sure that Socks has a Z on the end.
Perfect. Well, brother, I just want to say again, on behalf of the entire Nez Nation family, so honored to have you with us. Thank you so much for being here. And again, we're going to have you on the show again if you'll come back. We'd love to have
Yeah,
you on again. Somebody joked and said we should have a Two Socks and Nez talk show.
we should. Let's.
We should. Maybe we should. We'll have to think about that. But man, I just want to say thank you so much again. And it was an honor having you, sir. Okay.
Thank you so much, Nez. It
All
was
right,
an
man.
honor. Most definitely going to be checking out all of your other live streams. And y'all are here. Nez doesn't only talk to me and YouTubers. He talks to a lot of successful people around the world. So please make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel and you show Nez some love. He's a great person. It's going to be a phenomenal experience. I promise you. Just keep tuning into these lives. I personally do myself. So just wanted to say that as
Oh,
well.
that's so sweet of you, man. That's so sweet of you. I really appreciate that too, Socks. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll see each other again soon. I know it.
All right, Nez. Talk to you
All right, man.
soon.
All right, see ya. Hey guys, if you got a ton of value from this show, I'm just so moved by Kevin. He is absolutely wonderful. Make sure you smash that thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. It's absolutely free. We are bringing you brain busting content every single week. We go live every single Sunday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We also, I don't know how many of you guys are fans of podcasts. We also have the number one rated creator economy podcast on Apple, Spotify. All these streams, all these interviews end up on our podcast. So it's just the creator economy with Professor Nez podcast, and you can catch all of our shows. If you're like me, who loves podcasts and love listening to podcasts, the link is in the description and the link is in the show notes. Make sure you follow and subscribe on Apple, Spotify. We're on Amazon Music, anywhere. So I just want to say what a huge, huge thank you to you guys, Nez Nation. I want to do some big shout outs. QC, Cooper Home, Car Galaxy, Computer Pal, AJ Williams, Indian Exposed Investigations. God, I love that channel name. Daryl, huge shout out to all the people who were here. Send off. I'm just so, Brian, good to see you. V in the house, Nano in the house. It's just so great to see you. Deja, Denise. So many people, I can't get to all of you, but I just want to say a huge, huge thank you. And remember, guys, if you really want to make sure that you never miss out on anything, consider becoming an insider, a Nez Nation insider. It's absolutely free. And we don't ever share your email, and I despise spam more than anything on planet Earth. So become an insider. That way you're guaranteed when we do go live, when there is any new content, any new resources to help you monetize your creativity, skills, and experience in the creator economy. It's your boy Nez. I'm your ambassador, and we're going to keep doing it every single week. I love you guys. This is the greatest online community on planet Earth, not Earth, Earth. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. We will see you guys next time. I love you all. See you soon.